Today we will learn some of the basic concepts related to heredity. Each organism generates another organism similar to itself through the process of reproduction. We call the new organism offspring or progeny, and the organism that produces offspring is called parent. In appearance, the offspring matches its parents, but it is not a true copy of the parent. When we talk about a child being similar to its parent, then we meant about the characteristics which are similar between parent and the offspring. Various features that we see are called trait. In the process of reproduction, these traits are transmitted from one generation to the next through gametes. The transfer of various traits from parent to child is called heredity. In other words, inheritance of traits from one generation to the next is called heredity. If we look at the living organisms of a species, they do not look alike. Their basic structure is similar, but they differ from each other in characteristics such as height, complexion, etc. The difference among various individuals of a species are called variations. Over generations, variations also get accumulated. For example, consider this as a bacteria, which produces two individuals during reproduction. We can see traits inherited from a parent to its next generation. In addition to this, we also see some variations. Each individual, in turn, produces two more individuals similar in characteristics to that of parent, but have individual differences also. In the same way, there is inheritance of traits and variations from generation to generation. Sexual reproduction produces more variations than asexual reproduction. Try to find its reason by your own. Suppose there is a species of red insect on a tree. Due to accumulation of variations over generation, there is a rise of new variety of green insects. Suppose if a bird comes to live on that tree, it can easily find and eat red insects. But green insects can hide themselves in the green color of leaves. In this way, there will be a possibility of survival of the insect species. In this way, variations helps in survival of the species. Therefore, we can say that the variations in reproduction are the basis of evolution. Let us understand the mechanism of heredity. The body of an organism is made up of cells. The nucleus of cells consists of DNA. Just as a cookbook is a source of information for cooking, DNA in cells is a source of information for synthesizing proteins. Just as the information about making some dish is stored at any place in the cookbook, the DNA contains specific segments for synthesizing specific proteins. We call each segment a gene. The information contained in the gene is called hereditary code. The gene of a protein regulates the synthesis of protein and, in turn, regulates the expression of a character. In this way, the expression of traits is controlled by genes. So, genes are called unit of heredity. The code of every character is stored in the form of genes in the DNA. Therefore, characters are transmitted from one generation to the next by transmitting the DNA through reproduction. That's why we call DNA as the hereditary material. In the cell, DNA forms some thin long thread-like structures called chromosomes. As the gene is a specific path on DNA, therefore, it is also a specific part of the chromosome. Chromosomes are kept very close to each other in the cells so as to form a nucleus. A gene may have different variants that control different traits. Different forms of a same gene are called alleles. For example, genes of tallness and genes of dwarfness are alleles for the trait called height. To understand heredity, we represent them with these letters. Here, tallness and dwarfness are different traits of same gene. We call these as contrasting characters. Allele in an organism may be the same or may also be different. Such organisms that have the same pair of alleles for a triad are called homozygous, and such organisms which have different pairs of alleles for one trait are called heterozygous. Remember that the branch of science under which we study genes, variations, and heredity is called genetics. So today we have learned some basic concepts related to heredity.